Hi, this is an intro and a brief video demonstration of the war game WarChess-X. WarChess-X is a simulated hypothetical World War scenario between two superpowers, and where all the involved elements have been reduced to a logic-based algorithm like chess. You play the president and decision maker for one superpower entity against an opponent or counterpart. You have at your command generals and armies, admirals and navies, air forces with air marshals, special forces, secret service, ICBM defense, radar, satellites, and economic and logistical infrastructure. The map represents an algorithmic world map. And as you can see, the map's been divided into two hemispheres by a black line that runs all the way from the west end of the board to the east end of the board. Now the blue zones at the middle of the board represent your oceans, and the brown zones represent land, the green zones represent forests, and at the very end, the red zone represents your presidential bunker, the grey zones represent your air forces and airfields and strategic forces locations, and the blue zones, the deep blue zones at the very end of the board represent your space zones, where you've got your satellites and radar. Now, just like in chess, the aim of this game is to capture your opponent's president, but there's a lot to do to get to your opponent's president all the way around the back in his bunker. There are many ways to go about this. You could start, well, probably the most straightforward way to start is the two navies clashing, and you have to defeat your opponent's navies by taking out their aircraft carriers. Each navy, each side has two navies, and each navy is controlled by an aircraft carrier, kind of like the king in chess. So when you capture the aircraft carrier, you take out that navy. So you have to capture your opponent's two aircraft carriers to take out his two navies. And then after taking out his navies, then it becomes easier to land your army. Your army from, say the green forces have defeated the grey forces navy, and they now have to land their army to try and invade the green forces land territories. So in the C sections, you've got 4 ranks between you, but on land, as soon as you land your army, you've just got 2 ranks. So the battle falls upon you real quickly, and it gets real mixed up quickly, just like typical of the army anyways. You have to battle through your opponent's army to try and get into his bunker to take his president. But grinding through the navy, grinding through the army takes time. You have to play all that out. There are other ways to shorten the game, as it were. You could you've got special forces. You've got like SAS. These guys here, you can send them in. You've got V-22 Ospreys for transporting them. You've got C-130 transporters for transporting them. You could also, rather than wait for the Navy battle to play out, you can send your army straight away, using an amphibious landing carrier. But you have to be careful, because if the amphibious landing carrier gets taken out while on sea, you lose the army on board as well. So while that tactic might serve to hasten your attack, with respect to capturing your opponent's president, it comes with its risks. But, if you pull it off, it comes with its pluses. You could also try and land your army with the C-130 carriers. Another way to disable your opponent's forces really quickly is by targeting their satellites around the back. Now, your opponent, each superpower entity's got 3 satellites and 1 base radar station on the horizon. The satellites can be out in space or on the horizon. But 1 satellite controls the Navy, 1 satellite controls the Army, and another satellite controls the Air Forces. So, if you can successfully send one of your missiles, one of your ICBMs, through the board to the back of your opponent's side of the board, and successfully take out one of his control satellites, you effectively take out 2 navies in one fell swoop, or 2 armies in one fell swoop, or 2 air forces in one fell swoop. So that's another way to very quickly, that's another way to hasten the war, just to avoid grinding it all the way through the board, man for man. But you have to be able to maneuver your missiles across the board to get to the satellites. Another very valuable maneuver is to target the base radar station. Now, if you can take out the base radar station, you cut out the president's communications with his other satellites and hence his other forces. So, in taking out the base radar station, in just that move alone, you could take out your opponent's navies, armies, and air forces in one fell swoop. Now that's a very valuable move if you can execute such a move. Another way, in fact, you could even start the game like this. Now, these circles are kind of like gateway portals from one bunker to another bunker. So, the only pieces on the board who have access to these portals are the spies and the double agent. So, if you move one of the spies onto the portal, you could effectively transport him to there, to your opponent's bunker, and you could effectively transport all 4 spies and double agent to your opponent's bunker to try and capture the president or his president without even going through any of the war, any of the grinding, man for man, slugging it out. Ultimately you've got 4 spies against 4 spies, a double agent against the double agent, and then he's got the president making an extra man on you. So to be successful in such a ploy, you have to be very cunning and tactful, and also you have to be very careful, because your double agent, if he gets captured, gets converted to the opponent's side. But in doing this, you can very quickly end the war if you're tactful or cunning enough. Another way to attempt to take out or capture or destroy the opponent's president is to nuke the bunker. But you can't just send nukes at the bunker without, there's like a protocol before you can nuke the bunker. You have to send a spy into your opponent's bunker, and the spy has to get to your opponent's access computers here, hypothetically he downloads the coordinates to his forces, so they know exactly where to nuke. Now, the spy has to sit at this computer long enough for the nuke to hit the station. Sorry, for the nuke to hit the bunker. If not, it's not a successful nuclear strike. So, if you can sit your spy long enough at your opponent's access computers without him getting harassed away or even captured, and then send a nuke to your opponent's president's bunker, you could effectively take the opponent's president out and win the game. Now, WarChess-X can, it can run just with the battle elements, but it can be expanded by adding an economic element as well, where you've actually got real infrastructure. You've got cities where you have to defend them, stop them getting bombed or nuked, to keep your morale. You've got steel factories you have to defend or try and capture your opponents. They have economic benefits, as in they boost your economic output, such as reducing the cost of, like when you play the economic expansion aspect of it, you could effectively replace lost units by doing trade with the financiers, the ultimate financiers, the World Bank. As always behind the scenes in every war, financing whoever needs to be financed. So I haven't printed out the currency yet, but I'll do that in time. But yeah, you could expand to the economic aspect of the game to just to grind it out a bit more if you wanted. I mean, this game could take anywhere from 2 hours or an hour to 2 months or a month. It just depends on how direct or tactful you approach, your opponent. You've got oil rigs, which boost your production and boost your war effort as well. You've got docks here. These docks are more for logistics. This is where you launch your nuclear submarines from. Sorry for the bad focus. Yeah, you've got docks here, and that's where you launch your nuclear submarines from, and your amphibious landing vessels. You got airports, and that's where you take off your B-2 bombers, B-52s, C-130s, F-35s, and Predator UAVs. You got silos here, and that's where you launch your nukes from. You launch your nukes by placing nukes in there, and that's effectively a move. And then on the next move, the moves that govern or dictate the pattern of motion for the nukes take effect. Some of the PCs have the ability to basically these weapons are called standoff weapons or first strike weapons. They have the ability to carry a horde of ICBMs and nukes and just properly put your opponent in check. I'll demonstrate like with the nuclear submarines to launch the nuclear submarines, you can arm them with several nukes and cruise missiles. You've got two types of ICBMs. You've got nuclear ones and the smart cruise missile, advanced cruise missiles. So you can arm your nuclear submarine with a total of 6 ICBMs. If you can mix and match it at whatever combination you want. And then, oops. And then you move him into battle. And then your B-52 bombers, you can arm with up to 4 ICBMs, whatever combination again you fancy, and you launch them from the airport like that. And then finally your B-2 bombers, sorry, I'm just looking for the missile platform here. Finally, your B-2 bombers, your B-2 bombers can take a total of 2 ICBMs, and you also launch from the airport. And yeah, one more thing. Yeah, you've got these, your ICBM trucks. They launch carry one at a time, but they can launch them from anywhere. They can you could even ferry them across to the opponent's side and launch from there. Yeah, I hope I managed to get in as one more thing. Yeah, same sort of rules of stalemate in chess apply, but the president can actively play for stalemate if the odds are really against him, instead of trying to play into a tight square where your opponent has no more legal moves, and you could actively run for cover, like literally try and avoid being captured. If at that stage of the game you can get your president to his chopper, to his escape helicopter, if you can get him to that square before he gets captured, then you've got a stalemate. But then the president can only move towards the chopper as soon as his bunker gets infiltrated. Yeah, you've got your UAVs just to add more commotion to the battlefield. Yeah, I hope I've managed to get as much information as possible about WarChess-X, and thank you for watching.